It's time for our final match, ladies and gentlemen. It's MUFC versus LGD International. Winner of this match improves to 4-4 in the group, and it sets up some potentially interesting tiebreakers depending on who prevails. I'm LD. I'm joined by Blitz, and Blitz, we just got done watching LGD.int pick a Wisp and a Prophet and really make it work. And of course, the engine of that draft was probably G on the Lifestealer. Took it solo mid. Very impressive performance from him. This time around, as we hop inside the draft, it has been banned out.
Yeah, and I actually predicted it. There's no way that you're going to give G a hero that he's just been absolutely crushing on 3 games in a row. I think people overestimated the nerf on the Lifestealer, but LGD International making it work by just putting it mid instead.
I mean, even in a tri-lane, he's not necessarily that much weaker if you have a setup. If you have something like Shadow Demon, Lina, Lifestealer, that's still a very strong tri-lane. It's more if the Lifestealer is your initiator, or if he's intended to be. Those kinds of lanes don't work early on. But mid-game, he's identical, just with a 100 lower initiation range, which is basically nothing. Because you're already going phase drums on Lifestealer most games anyway. Most heroes can't outrun you.
Yeah, and MUFC going to switch it up a little, picking the Visage. I wonder if LGD is going to go back to that Wisp Nature's Prophet that they've been running all day.
I'm just face-palming.
I can't believe MUFC is going to let this happen again. They have to have something else to deal with this. I'd imagine another offensive tri-lane, but this time featuring the Visage, who's actually the best offensive tri-laner.
The difference is they have Visage, and he's a good tri-laner. He also gives you ridiculous burst damage. We saw in the last fights that the Wisp would basically die to a Laguna Blade in the last game, and sure, she got the relocate off. She brings a carry hero into the fray, but Soul Assumption, you don't have to wait until level 6. You could just start hitting mini Laguna Blades long before then. They'll also get a Void. We thought maybe they would go for that last game. I still feel like a Void would have been a safer option than an Alchemist just because of the lockdown he gives you, and a great hero to deal with Lifestealer, as we talked about as the game goes later. Also, just a Chrono Wisp, focus her down. They'll pick it up now, and I actually like this choice a lot.
Yeah, Faceless Void is one of the most annoying heroes to play against. He doesn't flash farm very well. He's kind of hard to play offensively, but at the same time, once you get into those mid-game team fights and you can Chrono is such a deadly spell. I mean, it's just the way that Void works, you're definitely going to get it off. It just depends on how many heroes, who you're going to get it off on. I mean, you can essentially just lock down a carry.
It's like playing against a Darkseer, where there's Vacuum Wall, and it completely changes the way you approach any sort of push or aggressive engagement.
Yeah, and actually, it's a hero that MUFC runs really well too.
It's one of Hot and Trash players' most comfortable heroes. I don't know what his win rate is on it, but I feel like he does, whether he wins more games or not on Void, I almost don't care, because just from having cast him a lot on this hero, he's a lot more comfortable with this than something like an Alchemist, I feel, and it plays more to their strengths, which ultimately is a very strong 5-man composition. They had a decent one last game, but going for Alchemist somewhat limits your 5-man. End of the day, it was a lot of single target, not a lot of AoE stuns. They start this one off with AoE stuns from the Familiars, and then the Void as well with the Chronosphere.
Yes, and actually Clockwork and Darks are going to be banned out. LGD realizing that not a lot of long laners, actually no long laners or 3-position heroes were picked by MUFC, and this is actually a really smart double ban out.
There is a Weaver available who does alright against something like a Nature's Prophet, especially, well, he probably would be in the off lane is the one concern here, because when you go Void, you mentioned, not the best aggressive hero, so they really need that off lane 3 position as well, which somewhat further restricts the pool of possible options. We'll see who they go for.
Yeah, it's really surprising to see a Visage get picked up, and not, especially if you know that it's going to be a Nature's Prophet bottom, most likely, right? Since they are playing on the Dire, and it's going to be a Wisp top. I figured that they think that the best way to deal with it would be to offensive tri-lane it, but no, they're actually going to opt to pick up the Faceless Void. I mean, that's a hero that has a really large difficulty actually aggressive tri-laning. I mean,
he doesn't win the laning stage. You pick a Void, unless you find some weird 1v1 mid which works, which Void, there's a very small list of heroes he can take mid. Something like a Lifestealer maybe it does okay, but we're not going to see that anyway, so outside of that, I don't know, Blitz. I think it's more just it's MUFC's comfort zone. Maybe it's not on paper the best draft, but for their roster, for their play style, I still think it's a suitable choice and probably better than something like an Alchemist or even the Darkseer, which frankly the walls were not very good in game 1, and I thought it was one of the reasons they struggled.
The laning phase though by TFG was fantastic. I mean, he
true.
played that lane about as well as I've seen somebody play against G. Able to pick up a solo kill. His vacuums, the surges, they were almost always on point, but at the same time, I mean, I kind of agree. You your heroes that you're good at, right?
Yeah,
You
play to your
cater
strengths.
Yeah, exactly. You cater to your team's needs. It's like every team that I play with picks me Storm, regardless of what's on the other team, because that's the only hero I can play.
Speaking of Storm, well, there's no lifestealer this game, so I doubt we'll see him.
Yeah.
They'll go Venge.
Vengeful Spirit.
CK's in the pool, and they say no. We want Venge.
I actually don't think that CK is really strong with Wisp, but I think LGD has kind of found their groove without having to pick that hero. They're just showing a variety of heroes that work. And Venge actually works fantastically against Faceless Void too. We talked about Void being such a great hero at shutting down a carry, but what happens if the Vengeful Spirit just waits and then just swaps the carry out?
Yeah, swaps the carry out, swaps the Void out into our team, just initiates the fight in such a way that even if Void comes in Chronos, someone's already dead, so he's already fighting 4v5 or even 3v5, 3v4. Well, it could always be a man-up situation. That's what the Venge gives you. And now their ability to chase and pick you off is actually insane. We saw last game Venge swapping forward to get in range, to even swapping her teammates back to get in range to throw out a magic missile. We saw relocate ganks with Venge, swapping opponents straight into her team. So many creative ways to use that hero. And well, for MUFC, they go Rubik now. They'll shore up their initiation. They're trialing a little bit with this pick. And now I guess the big question is, what are those solos going to be? Rubik pretty much always a support nowadays, and I don't really know who's left. There's a Dragon Knight in the pool, but LGD.int will snap that up.
Queen of Pain, man. That's all I see FCFC play.
Does well against Dragon Knight. Does well against Dragon Knight 1v1, and also could snowball this game because there are two stuns that are sort of reliable. Your Magic Missile, your Dragon Tail, and only one of those is a range stun. You can still Blink Disjoint the Magic Missile. I feel like Queen of Pain could have a big impact here. Or maybe even something like a Templar Assassin. I feel that would be very strong too.
Yeah. I actually saw FCFC play that hero like 6 games in a row. No, it's going to be a Puck. And
Team fight heavy.
They anticipate Puck is so hard to disable because you can dodge the Vengeful Spirit Stun really easily because the animation is so exaggerated.
The only stun that's going to work for them here is the Dragon Tail.
Yeah.
Nothing else will be reliable against Puck.
So they pick a defensive hero mid. I actually really like that, especially with the amount of times that LGD.int has been rotating today with that 4 roll. I mean, Misery has just been a terror. He's been going mid, guaranteed every single time.
He's allergic to laning. He ends the laning stage at the 0-minute mark.
It's like, well, I could lane or I could kill.
Or I could roam, I could gank. It's great in pubs, but to see it in a pro game and to see it work is very unusual. To see 2 supports ganking isn't that weird, but just one roaming around and making things happen doesn't happen a whole lot.
Yeah, and the best thing about Misery as a support is he always manages to get farmed somehow. Like, I don't actually know how that guy just picks up, like, items. Just pops them like candy, but... The crazy thing, too, is that it continues to work, right? I mean, they know that Misery's going to come mid at some point. That's what he does. That's his role. Under, like, Occupation, it's like, we'll come mid to help G sometimes.
Mid-comer. Or something like that. Yeah. Gyro, the final ban for LGD.int. They'll go TA. It now puts the Dragon Knight into an awkward laning situation. I guess he'll be a part of a defensive dual lane. And they'll send a TA mid, so G gets his snowball hero. I was going to say I wasn't sure about a G Dragon Knight, because
that doesn't really
not really a G hero, but the Templar Assassin certainly does. Also a hero that can give Puck fits. Yeah. This is a very tough matchup for the Puck. Probably won't die, but very hard to stay up in terms of CS.
Yeah, and it's actually okay in CS. The problem is that Templar Assassin, you can't kill her. Just with the Refract up, the Silence won't do any damage, the Orb won't do any damage. Sure, you can be defensive, but you can CS okay. It's not as bad as you might think.
The early levels are fine. It's more when TA hits like level 5 or 7, then it gets kind of hard, because Refraction is like basically your whole base damage, plus whatever the TA has for hers, and then last hitting becomes a little more troublesome.
I would have been really surprised, though, if G plays the Dragon Knight. It doesn't really seem like his kind of hero. He likes that space-creating snowballer that puts out physical damage.
And MUFC, as soon as you turn away, they say, let's pick up a Broodmother. We're going to completely change this game, and it'll be a Brood. It looks like they're angling... Well, do they want the Brood versus Prophet matchup here? I guess more likely even they just want the Brood against the Tri-Lane. It's actually hard for Wisp to deal with this. You look at LGD.int, they don't have any AoE from their supports to speak of. The Wisp Spirit's not really good AoE. The Venge just has Wave of Terror. Spiderlings are going to be very fearsome through the early to mid game, and it's going to be hard for this Tri-Lane to deal with the Brood unless they can just kill the hero. If they're forced to fight the Spiderlings, they'll be in trouble.
Yeah. And actually, it's really good hero in a situation like this. The knock on the hero, though, is that if a fight happens across the map, what are you going to do with a hero like Brood, right?
You push.
I guess, but it's such a one-dimensional thing. all you have to do, and why it's kind of fallen out of favor, is you just kind of go the opposite lane, force fights, and it's a 4-on-5 situation, and you've devoted so much farm to your brood. And with Glyph working the way it does, taking no damage from while the armor's up, I mean, it's just a little difficult. Especially since Brax can just continuously spam his ult, get some free broodlings, money.
Money. Get holla, get Della, and that's what Brax will look to do in game number 2. It's a best of 2. LGD, if they win this, they'll be 4-4. If they lose, they'll be 3-5. Same story for MUFC. Winner is going to be placed a little bit higher in this group. On the side of LGD. And of course, we have Brax taking up the reins of the Nature's Prophet. Of course, handling the Wisp will be none other than 1437. I think he's played nearly all Wisp today. Pycat on the Dragonite G, on the Templar Assassin, and last but not least, it will be Misery actually leading the way here as the Vengeful Spirit. They're expecting an offlane Broodmother. They have Sentries and Dust at level 1. And oh boy, they're right. It is TFG playing Brood, and TFG's heading top. The rest of MUFC, they're your Malaysian upstarts. They are a solid sort of some middle-of-the-pack team for the International 3 contenders right now, I would say. Not a top team as of yet. Haven't shown the great results, but they've got a little bit of potential, this squad does. FCFC taking over the role of the puck. He'll be heading mid. We'll have Hontrash player. I wish he would use his real name. Playing the Faceless Void. Ling on the Visage. And Winter, last but not least, he is the darling of many an English viewer. Lot love him for his commentary, but we'll see if he can make big plays in the game itself. He'll be playing the Rubik.
Okay, so this is really smart by the Broodmother. She's actually placed sentries that her supports have given her just in that corner right under the T1 tower. And she's actually just waiting for the sentries to be placed preemptively so she can get one off by herself. And they don't actually know that she has sentries. They've seen her, they see no sentries on her, so it's just like really safe.
I was trying to find the sentries you were talking about. Finally found them. They are right next to the tower here, and now TFG picks them up. It kind of reminds me of Mouse, where they would run this Lifestealer pick, and they would actually plan to jungle it, but I believe it was actually, no, sorry, it's Koikfa. He always drops his Quelling Blade, and he goes to check the runes, so he acts like he's laning, but he's actually not. And now TFG drops the sentry, support Broodmother, roaming to D-Ward, level 1. Very unusual, but hey, end of the day, it'll make life a little bit easier and safer for this already hard-to-kill puck.
Yeah, do you see this lane at bottom? They've kind of like, Brax has kind of like half pulled the lane, so the fight actually just kind of starts in the middle of this jungle here.
Yeah, the creep waves, they both meet, they intersect there. It looks like MUFC messed up, or basically they disrupted the pull disruption of Brax. So it was a disruption of a disruption, a meta disruption, if you will. And they stopped Brax, at least for now, from messing up the creep equilibrium. He'll send in more Treants. It looks like they're going to play an Ohio-style Prophet here, where Prophet sacrifices himself to slow down the enemy tri-lane.
Yeah, and actually TFG getting into a right-click fight uses one of those sentries to...
There's a tether. There's a magic missile as well. Tether stun could be enough to set up an additional nuke, but they can't get in range. A little bit overzealous for Misery. Didn't use a dust, but did drop a sentry for that.
Yeah, this isn't exactly a dual lane that can really, or a dual support setup that can actually pressure this Brood too much. I mean,
only if the Dragonite's here.
Off.
They find the tether stun, trying to get in range as Pycat, but they're just trying to go when Pycat's too far away. And it's kind of the issue with the Dragonite pick in a tri-lane is he doesn't have a great stun. He's got to get right next to you, and that's a long way to chase away from the creep wave.
Yeah, the way that TFG plays this, you don't actually respond to what the supports do. You try to figure out what Pycat's doing, and actually the stun's gonna land.
This could be bad for TFG. It could be our first blood. He's being body blocked, but it's not quite enough yet. Still running a final nuke barrage from LGD. That last salvo is sufficient. They invested a lot for that kill. It was all their mana on their supports. Most of the HP on Pycat, a dust and a sentry as well, but in the end, they do get the kill, and an important kill at that. Broodmother, one of those heroes that if she gets shut down too hard early, is just food the entire game.
The best thing, too, is that Pycat's going to be going for a Soul Ring. So I think what they're trying to do is just get Pycat a little strong early, get him a few levels. You know, once you get a few levels of the Dragon Blood, it's going to make it so that Brood can't really get into a right-click fight with you. And with the Soul Ring, giving you 3 HP regen on top of the HP regen you get from Dragon Blood, that's going to be insane.
And as for MUFC, their tri-lane hasn't managed to find a kill. They have Visage, Rubik, putting a lot of pressure on the lane early. They pushed it into the tower, and they're denying a bit of farm here to Hontrash player, who will slightly be behind the Dragonite. 3 less denies, 1 last hit, but they've also given Brax a quick and easy level 2, and you compare that to TFG, it does have level 2, but it just feels like TFG is the one that's much more likely to die. How do you actually kill a Prophet with a level 3 Faceless Void with boots You need to be the Bash Lord. You need to summon the inner Bash Lord, and to do that this early, very unlikely.
Dude, that's why he's not going to be the Bash Lord, because you have no faith in him. If you have faith in the Bash Lord, he'll bash.
I don't know.
Understand how faith works?
That sounds like pop psychology, Blitz.
No, it's a very basic concept. If you want something hard enough, you'll get it.
The Secret.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that book. Oh my god.
I wanted to be Asian, so I dreamed of it.
You wanted to be Chuan's lesbian sister? You dreamt it hard enough, and now you are.
I grew that hair.
And then you dreamed that it was over.
Then I wanted to be
You
his
wake
brother.
up one day, you cut your hair, and it's over.
I was like, now I want to be Chuan's son. Make a fashion statement.
Kawa's quietly crying in the corner, but it's not stopping us.
We just continue. And actually, Dragon Knight going to pick up a Soul Ring here. This means that he should be able to be left up to his own devices. They're going to push this tower. And here's the knock on Brood. What do you really do against this? They pick up sentries. They have dust. How do you survive? They're going to place such an offensive ward here and just force them out of the lane. Pycat pops the Soul Ring. Going to breathe fire. Bring down the creeps. And this is 3 range creeps.
They'll dive in. They'll dive in bottom lane now. There's a time walk on the Brax. They pull him back in. There's a soul assumption available. I don't know if it's enough to find the kill. It comes in, but it won't be sufficient. They've TP'd 1437. The turnaround is there from the orbs, and Ling will fall. They actually double teleported, and now on the run is going to be I keep on wanting to call him TFG, but it's Han Trash player running through the river. Is there a Sprout available? There's not, but the tether. Oh no! It catches 1437 up on the cliff. Not where Wisp really wants to be. Meanwhile, top lane, TFG gets stunned, gives up a tower last hit. He has hit level 4, so they lose a hero bottom lane, but they force 2 TPs, and I think most importantly, they get some levels for TFG, who was really struggling in this top lane.
Yeah, but at the same time, Ling goes down in an offensive tri-lane, trying to dive that Nature's Prophet, and Brax manages to live. That's not exactly what you want to see. And at the same time, Han Trash player zoned out of farm for some time. Now he's 4 behind Pycat, and meanwhile, in middle lane, it's not exactly going the way you wanted. FCFZ is losing.
I feel like FCFZ is doing all right considering the matchup, and considering how well G's been playing mid. But yeah, end of the day, he's still losing his lane.
Yeah, it's actually a lane, though, that we did predict he wouldn't do too well in, but is managing to get a CS off. And the big thing about Puck 2 is he's the better team fighter of the 2 heroes.
Uh-oh. TFG might walk into the Sentry Ward. The dust is deployed, and now we'll give him the runaround. He'll head north. It's going to be a little bit of arena around the Rosie as well. He doesn't actually have mana for a web. Do they know it? They still are chasing. They're saying, TFG, you'd better pop a web soon. Pycat, the creeps deny him at every corner, but now the net might close. It's going to be Winter waiting for G. He can lift him up and throw him back, but there's just no damage every time. They try to cliff him. Winter can't quite find the angle. Now the orb comes through. It'll hit the supports, but it doesn't affect G. Finally, he gets mana for the web. And he'll pop into it. He'll be able to escape.
The puck ult was used, though, to try to stop G from continuing to go on. I think that was a bit of an overreaction, especially since the Broodmother was able to pop everything off. But FCFC, this does lower his teamfight potential by quite some.
LGD.int really hates the laning stage. I just can't reiterate this enough. They're so antsy. It's like that hyperactive ADD child in school who just cannot sit in his chair. He's got to run around. He's got to speak out of turn, and that's what LGD.int are doing. They're constantly roaming off the lanes. They're TPing at a drop of a hat to defend the bottom lane. Constant aggression, constant movement as well from G, and so far it just feels like MUFC being kept off the rhythm. They now trail by 2,500 gold. My goodness, that's a hefty lead to be down only 1 tower and down another 1,500 gold on top of the tower gold, and also by 750 experience. This game looking better and better for LGD.int. And end of the day, Blitz, they have, I would say, a stronger late game lineup than they did last game, and they're winning the laning stage very hard.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Pycat just continuing to pressure top, and that's a lot of damage done on that top tower. It's already taken 600 at 7 minutes. Pycat is solo pushing. They need to do something to pressure him off this tower just because, I mean, at this rate, he's going to take it down. And TFG getting burned out. That's a tower.
He can't actually stand in this lane any longer. He just gets spammed out, basically.
Yeah. The regen from the level 1 Dragon Blood and the Soul Ring is enough to kind of keep him off the lane, and this is going to be a tower. He should be able to get the deny. Oh, yes, he does.
I was checking mid for a second. Thought we might have some action there, but my eyes deceived me. LGD, they keep 3 top. Now the coil deployed. Pycat caught out. The silence comes through. That orb hits too. A good little fight here for MUFC, but Pycat's still alive. And through the tether, well, they may find more kills yet. Finally, the Wisp goes down. Pycat on the run. He'll head south. Can't escape. MUFC, they close the net. They descend here. The orb comes through again. TFG picks up a double. 2 towers down top lane, but now level 7. All things considered, Broodmother against a tri-lane for much of this game. This is not too bad for him, and That was a great little engagement for MUFC.
Yeah, that's actually going to help get him back into the game. He's got level 7 now. The issue is that he hasn't really been able to make too many moves in terms of being able to pressure anywhere on the map. And on top of that, I mean, Brax, he hasn't really hit any sort of effectiveness, but he's going to have his Midas soon. He's got 1,400 gold if he opts to go for that route. And once he gets his ultimate, it's going to just allow G to be able to pick off kills for free.
It's not just Brax, it's G as well. Yeah, G now up to, has the double damage run up, 47 CS. You compare that to the Puck, it's not really FC's fault. I mean, the matchup is hard anyway to keep up in terms of farm, but more importantly, he's been forced to move a lot, whereas G's just been able to sit mid comfortably and plink away at the tower, and he's going to force the teleport now. He's got refraction and a double damage up. He'll start to not even chip away. He'll just take huge gashes of HP out of this tower, and then he'll back off. No TP's forced yet. TFG feeling confident, struts up, the Spiderling army is here, but the Breathe Fire brings them down in a hurry. And I guess for MUC, the X factor has to be this free farm Faceless Void, safe lane, 55 CS, power treads up, along with the Ring of Health. He'll be going for a Battle Fury. It's the window between now, when he gets the Battle Fury, and then when he gets the next item. That's where LGD are really going to have opportunities to make things happen. But once he gets the Battle Fury, gets maybe the Mask of Madness, the BKB, then I think they'll stabilize. Can they last that long? That's the real question.
Yeah, Pycat is applying a lot of pressure. I really like this decision to go Soul Ring. He's going to pick up a Wand as well. I wonder what kind of item he's going to go in terms of damage. I don't actually know if he needs a BKB, just because there's a lot of physical damage on MUFC. So I think going for maybe like an armlet.
Yeah, maybe something like an armlet. Drums would be okay if they want to gank, but he is kind of their... I don't know if he's their one position, but he's the one who's getting... I don't know. I mean, he could almost go utility, to be honest, because end of the day, they do have a solo mid TA who's getting pretty close to free farm.
Yeah, a Shadow Blade would also be worth it, but maybe he does end up going really, really safe, picking up the BKB. I mean, the Chrono won't really kill him, though, in the time that he's Chrono, just because the armor is so high.
Yeah, it's pretty much invulnerability for him.
Yeah, and actually, G gonna go for that drums that we actually see so
Top
often.
lane, there's a coil, catches out Misery. Excuse me, was that a coil? Yeah, it was dropped. Just wasn't sure because the animation was a little bit hard to see. But Pycat, now an orb comes through. TFG trying to catch him out, and TFG starting to really have an impact in these skirmishes because they all keep on happening in his lane. Pycat will drop again, along with that Vengeful Spirit of Misery, and that's 2 down, 2 on the sidelines.
Yeah, now he's on a killing spree, and FCFC being able to rotate really heavily.
His movement has been superb this game.
Yeah, he's going to actually rush a Blink Dagger, and he's going to have it right now at 11 minutes.
That's huge, and you compare what G can... What he should be able to do with this Blink Dagger just far outstrips anything G can bring to bear for now. Misery wants the tower mid.
Why?
Oh, that was so greedy by Misery. That was ridiculous by Misery, and he'll pay.
Yeah, just running
wow. I mean, seriously, man. There's a Chrono bottom lane. It'll catch out Brax. Pycat TP's in. He finds the kill, has the mana to TP, but he doesn't have mana to Time Walk and TP, and now he might pay with his own life. Maybe TP's out now. He needs a little bit of luck. He'll try and Time Walk south. Is there a trap? He's still running. This Hammerhead Shark is gaining steam, but there's your drums. The trap's cooling down. Winter looking for a double hero telekinesis stun, but unfortunately he's lifted only the Dragon Knight, not G. Needed to lift G and throw him back into Pycat. Couldn't do it. And in the end, his Faceless Void will fall. He'll fall as well. And LGD, they strike back quickly. And now Wisp level 6.
Yeah, and it looked like they were going to try to take a Roshan for a second, but Brax is going to TP top, try to defend the tower. I don't actually know if he's going to be able to do anything, though. Looks like TFG going to be able to push this out. Brax does rotate, but it looks like the meld damage plus the Dragon Knight damage is going to be able to take this early Roshan.
It's a good time to do it because there's no Chrono and Void just died. So unlikely that MUFC would try to contest. Plus, you see Brewmother top. And like you said, it's a lineup that can do it with Meld and with Dragon Knight, who actually chips away pretty decently with the...
Oh, a top FCFC.
Overtime, FCFC caught out, he'll orb away. He dropped the coil, but it's actually Misery who falls first, and now this is where Io could be in a lot of trouble. No tether, the Familiar's giving chase. I almost forgot there was a Visage in this game, but there is, and all of a sudden, a mega kill streak for TFG. 5-1 and 2. He was getting crushed top. He was being completely zoned out and bullied. But then they TP'd bottom very early to defend Brax. They turned that gank around. And ever since then, TFG has just been starting more and more to find his footing and make an impact this game. All of a sudden, he is the 3rd highest net worth in the game.
Yeah, he's 5-1, and he's got 2,800 gold, and I don't actually even know how that happened. It just kind of progressively got more and more, and he's actually having to go with Hand of Midas. That's the LD build. I know you love doing it. You're laughing, but you always talk about it, right?
Oh, it's actually the Chinese build. It's something that RTK loves to do on his Broodmother. I think I've seen 430 do it as well quite a bit for IG.
Oh, tether TP top.
There's a relocate. TFG on the run. He's in trouble, though. No BKB up for him. He keeps on trying to run. He's got to stay out of the tether stun. He can't do it. Too much move speed. Now a melt splash, and he'll go down. But in the end, losing only your Broodmother, 4 heroes devoted to that, and all the while avoid free farming. Not a great trade, but not too shabby at that.
Wait, where does Handamitis... Okay, so he did get the Handamitis. He manages to buy Treads before he dies, too. So that's a 14-minute Broodmother with a Handamitis and a Treads. I never thought that would happen, especially considering the start he got.
He got tri-lanes. He gave up first blood. And yet all of a sudden, sure, even with the death, he slips down a bit in the net worth, but he's still doing a lot. FCFC jumps in, coils up Pycat. Pycat, well, he'll drop here to the familiars. Dem familiars. No, swapped away!
Swap.
He could have got him with the last round of auto attacks, but went for the second stun instead. And as a result, the swap will keep Pycat fresh and safe, and he'll get out. And FCFC is trapped in the trees, just couldn't go in for that last round of auto attacks.
Yeah, and I actually think the stun damage would have been enough to kill Pycat. It would have been really close. Maybe it would have killed him. But at the very least, that was an excellent swap.
Yeah, in the end, the swap was successful. So Misery, well, a little bit over-eager earlier trying to get the tower, but making the plays on that support. And, well, the one thing he is struggling for is finding levels. He's actually gone for a bottle this game, which we don't normally see out of a Vengeful. It's an okay item for a roaming support, but it does leave her a bit squishy in some of these team fights. And obviously, it's G who really wants the rune. Speaking of G, up to 2,300 gold. He may look to make a go here on this Faceless Void with the Aegis at his side. He's had the Aegis. We haven't seen much happen with it, and puts a lot of pressure. The force is not with Hantrash player this game. I don't think I've seen a single big backtrack yet.
Yeah, but we haven't given him a lot of opportunities, man. I'm telling you about this faith concept, and you just won't believe me.
You sound like my mom, trying to convince me to go to church.
The church of backtrack.
My Chuan-faced lesbian mother.
Dude, you have to drop that. I cut the hair. You can't do that.
You used it too many times. Mid lane Winter. He'll get a 3-hero telekinesis stun, and even with Stolen Refraction, it looked good for a moment. FCFC, he wants to kill off Misery. He dropped the coil. He can't quite do it, but he will go down to the familiar damage. And now it's FCFC trying to run, trapped in the Sprout. One more melt shot from G to bring him down. The birds trying to do work.
Oh, he's feeding bird gold, and that's the best gold to feed.
Bird gold, the only gold. And now 1437 caught bottom lane. We'll see the Void. It may be in trouble here. Needs to time walk away. Will there be continued chasing from G? He's really diving for this. He's got the Aegis. He pops the drum charge. Oh, excuse me, no. Already used the drum charges earlier. Now just wears off. Trap was stolen by Winter. Oh, no, sorry. That was a G trap. Completely confused. He steals traps now. I'm seeing the future, Blitz. That's what's happening here.
Wow, that is so meta. And actually, G's got 3,200 gold. I'd imagine he's going to go for maybe opting to go the Yasha build again. It seems like SNY is getting more and more popular on a hero like Templar Assassin.
I don't think he'll go SNY on TA. I feel like the Manta is just too good, but especially against Puck, you really want something to debuff the silence.
The big thing too to note is that people have gone away from that Blink Dagger build, just opting to make her a little bit more tanky.
I like this build a lot more because it scales better into the late game, and it's less reliant on the enemy team making mistakes. Like for a Blink Dagger to work, they have to be caught out of position. You don't just want to dive a tower with a blink, power treads, and that being it. And now he's up to 3,300 gold. Maybe even go straight for a Desolator here.
Oh, he's picking up birds.
Micro your birds. Micro your birds. A little bit slow to do it. G, Aegis is still there. Is it going to wear off soon? No, he's got about a minute left.
Okay, he just spent another bird. That's 200 gold in the way of G.
That's 300, including the one earlier. So that's over a hero kill worth of gold.
Yeah, that was 100% worth it for him to devote that much time. He's actually just racking up gold. I hate when people do this because it just makes me have to guess what they're going to go for.
You must really hate Mushi then.
Yeah, I really do. Him and Jules, they drive me insane. I don't know. Maybe G gets a Shadow Blade. Do it. Please.
It's the one thing that 2009, basically, every time he casts RNG, Sport spends the entire game just ripping Mushi for his gold expenses and decision-making. And relocate top lane. They're going to look to go now. Can they get in range for the Broodmother? They are so far away. Wow, TFG just books it north, and that was hilariously far from being a successful gank.
They had to do something.
They were like 1,500 units off with that one. That's really far.
Dragon Knight actually going to pick up a Shadow Blade now. TFG stocking up quite a bit of gold. He's been left uninterrupted.
Oh no, they're going to go in right now. G, his Aegis might wear off in the middle of this fight. Chrono is available. They don't want to drop it yet. They keep on bashing him. The Chrono dropped prematurely. Oh, I don't like that one bit. Now he's forced to back. Misery struts in. Now G is going to have room to move. There is still a coil, but FCFZ gets stunned. Now brought down by the Dragon Knight as well as the Templar Assassin. And with no Chronosphere, no coil, there's no way out. For the time being, Lane will find one kill, but they bring down another, and the chase continues. LGD.int, one of the best chasing lineups you will ever see in the world of Dota. Battle Fury delivered special delivery, not from the Courier, not the Battle Fury, but in fact from G. I don't want to see that in my post office box. Never, but, well, it's waiting there. G drops a bomb, picks up the triple, and LGD.int, they're looking really good now. All of a sudden gaining some more momentum. Aegis wears off, but now up to 5.3k gold. Why not just get an MKB? Whatever he wants, he's got it now.
Stop. Just
buy it. Stop saving your money.
Bible thump, please. Okay, that's a lot of broodlings. That's just whatever refract charges you
Why are you... Oh no, they're even going in on G. He removes the refraction, actually surrounded, but just melts and gets out.
And Misery actually barreling down. He's got the dust. Not going to pop it. TFG
Everybody's saving their gold. TFG is up to 3.5k. Everyone is trolling the ever-living crap out of you, Blitz.
I mean, they're trolling you too, man. You're in this with me, you potato.
No.
Brack's actually going to farm up a Shadow Blade. That's actually
you're so spiteful today.
Dude, I'm not.
I don't like you when you're tired.
As you call me Chuan's lesbian sister. Not
you
once,
started it,
but twice.
I'm finishing.
Yeah, but I can make those jokes about myself because I'm comfortable. But we're not at that level yet.
We're not friends.
You're not my Purge. That's the big difference here.
I don't want to be.
We don't.
I don't want to be your Purge. All right.
Yeah, you do. No. Everyone does.
Oh, right.
Don't lie. Don't give me.
There is still a Dota game going on. It's the Alienware Cup. Brought to you, of course, by DPM.
Oh, God, this again.
I try to take us on a more serious path, and Blitz just says no, no, no.
I'm so you have to bear with me. I've had to work so much today, so I'm gonna get out my clowniness.
Blitz, there's something to talk about. TFG saved all that gold, and now he's gone for a
This
Necro
is the
book.
first time on record that Broodmother has purchased a Necronomicon, and the reason for that is because the push actually doesn't come from the Broodlings. It's the fact that you can kill the creep wave so quickly. And then from there on, you just kind of create disruption. I don't actually like this Necrobook 3 strategy, though, that she's going to go for.
I would... I guess it helps them if they just want to split push and stall the game a bit, but you can get a Manta and do a similar thing with that. And Manta scales really well late game, whereas makes you harder to gank, allows you to remove dust. This is kind of a limited... I wouldn't say dead-end item, but... Eventually, the path for this item ends, and the usefulness wanes as the game goes on.
Also, Hand of Midas instantly kills it without you taking any damage, and if you get a Helm of Dominator, you can steal it.
You know, that's the old Pinoy way. Because in Pinoy Dota, it was common to go Mass Necrobook, and the patented response was for everyone to build Hands of Midas, and the teams would trade kills and overextend so much that even the supports would get them. So you just see an army of Necrobooks being deployed on one side and an army of Midases on the other to eat them all up.
Yeah, and that's actually something that G can do. Pick up a Helm of Dominator, steal that Necro, and just kind of limit the...
Suddenly LGD.int have a Necrobook to call their own.
Did they really?
No, wait, I'm saying...
No, God, I'm so out of it right now. I'm so sorry. I understood the reference. We're good.
Idiot Blitz. New Blitz.
Okay, so Butterfly actually picked up by G.
I like how you just ignored that.
I have to, man. I'm trying to be professional here, dude.
Yeah, really.
One of us has to be.
You're really professional. They're going to smoke up. They'll find Pycat lurking in the trees. He thought he was safe. He's very, very wrong. He gets dusted right as he tries to Shadow Blade. Now lifted up. Thrown back down. They do relocate in the Wisp, but she relocates right into a Chrono. That's not where you want to be. Gonna drop very quickly. The buyback is there, but to what end? Can't rejoin the fight in a hurry. Now we'll finally do so. There is no Chrono, but G, the Spiderlings, as well as the Familiars, instantly removing all his refraction charges. Now marching forward is Han Trash Player. One more slash, he'll bring him down. Mega kill going to the Visage, but it's really this Void doing a lot of the dirty work. Another Soul Assumption. Can they get the additional kill in Misery? It looks like they might be able to. MUFC, 16-12. And they are finding a way. Where there's a will, there often is a way. And, well, we've got a will here at Beyond the Summit.
Yes, breaking the David trend, but
yeah,
that was just kind of an
one more
awkward
reason
fight.
why I hate you.
Pycat wasn't able to really do a lot. Man, I'm trying to be professional for Alienware. By the way, this tournament brought to you by Alienware and MasterCard and dpmlicious. Check them out on their website. So, anyways, There's just so much going.
Facebook.com/AlienwareCup, Twitter.com/AlienwareCup.
There's just a lot of damage coming the way. Pycat able to be dropped down before anything, and a great Chronosphere as well, catching 2 heroes, being able to isolate really quickly.
Kawa needs a moment. He'll actually have to leave the room here, but MUFC, LGD, and they won't be leaving the room. They'll continue to fight on. We'll see. Mid lane, Winter pushes it out, picks up a set of dust for himself, and obviously a crucial item pickup. I wish Valve would... You know, my favorite part when they released that... He's not even casting anymore, guys. He's just staring at stream chat, and...
I did it for half a second. Relax.
I'm pretty sure he's been doing all casts, and I only now just noticed, because I'm trying to observe very poorly at that. It's a 2k gold lead for LGD.int. G, just a completed casual YOLO butterfly for him. Going ham this game. Are there any other Lumiisms I can fill in here?
How he saw me!
How could they even do it?
Alright, so Necro 3 going to be picked up, and wow, the damage on it on Pycat is actually not a lot at all. So he's just kind of running away.
It was great with the Mana Burn, but then that wears off and there's nothing left. The relocate comes, the trap is there. If he had a Manta, he'd be A-okay, but he doesn't. He's still on the run. Can TFG get away? Doesn't look like it. Maybe, just maybe, they need this tether stun. What a juke! He gets away in the end. The Wisp driven back. Now a swap forward into a stun, but the dust wearing off. And while that was happening, hello Brax. Well, somebody was a little overeager, and he pays.
Yeah, and actually Brax going to be picked off, and that's huge. That means that there's no split pressure coming in, and Han Trash player just going to continue to pressure at bottom. He's going to get a BKB soon. He's got 2,500 gold, and that's huge. That means there's no way for the Chrono to be stopped whatsoever, especially until Brax manages to get Hex, but he's not actually too close. He's only got 2,100 gold, so...
He had a really good start. I mean, it was quite a fast Midas considering how much damage he did in this bottom lane, constantly blocking the pole camp, slowing down the level progression of MUC. That, to have a Midas when he did, which I believe was around like the 14, 15 minute mark at the latest, is pretty impressive, but since then he's fallen a little bit short. Pycat now caught in a Chrono. This is a very aggressive gank. He's also got a Shadow Blade. They'll pop Dust now. They just don't have the burst. Another Soul Assumption. Still not enough. The Familiar falls as well, and now it's going to be a turnaround. Lane caught out and brought down. Misery still continuing to chase. The Wisp Tether won't be enough to quite get in range, and this is where TFG says, I got this, guys. Just run. I'll push.
Yeah, the issue with chronoing Pycat is that you're not going to be able to put up enough physical damage, especially with a hero like Void. You don't have the attack speed to actually do that. So I think that was just a bit of a mistake. And feeding just a free kill, essentially, to LGD.
Yeah, if he had that next item, top lane, well, Wild Wisp relocate does find the kill on the Broodmother, but pays with her own life. A good trade for LGD.int, but we are seeing this. The Necrobook might not be winning them the game necessarily, but it is extremely annoying. Constantly forcing these heroes back to base while that's happening. We'll see other heroes finding farm. FCFC, 1,800 gold up. He'll probably be going for a Scythe of Vice of his own fairly soon.
Yeah, Misery trying to do what he can. It almost seems like Misery's trying to force the engagements and just trying to make things happen. And that's not really a Misery we've seen all today.
Well, he's definitely been looking for kills, but this is really forcing the issue. I mean, you remember the tier 1 mid? He just casually walked up to the tier 1 with 3 enemy heroes here and says, I'm going to last hit that. The glyph was available, and I mean, it's kind of uncharacteristic of Misery, who is normally, sure, he puts the pressure on early, but he does it in a very calculated way. This just feels like balls to the wall aggression, and unfortunately, Venge is a little bit squishy to be doing that. A blink in from FCFC, catches out Pycat, the dust there as well, and then Soul Assumption might be enough to find the kill. He's still alive. How does he keep on living? I don't even know how he can do it. Now FCFC on the run. The orb's bringing him low. Not going to kill him off yet. Orbs away. Cannot escape. So many balls, so many orbs this game. Will they go back in? TFG marches into the middle of the entire enemy team.
Suicide.
What was that? An ROTK mission if I've ever seen one.
And G's going to steal the Necro. And they're actually going to go for the Aegis here.
The teams must be tired.
I just don't understand why he would suicide in like that. He had to have known that they were prepared with something.
I'm a little bit flabbergasted, but it's been a long day for these teams. I think it is pretty late right now in Asia. Won't make excuses for them, but fatigue may be coming into play.
The crazy thing was he's been playing so well this game and so safely, so many jukes, being able to run out the dust. And
he got tri-lanes, and he was 5-1 and 2. Yeah. That's pretty incredible, but yeah, a little greedy there.
The crazy thing is also MUFC, they did have some sort of lead, but they're kind of slowly blowing it. They keep using so much on PyCat, and LGD International's like, okay, well, if you're going to blow all that on PyCat, then G's going to do all the damage for you guys.
Speaking of G, Helm of the Dominator, as you mentioned, is up, and it's a great item against the Necrobook. I love this choice from him. It's also just a great item in general. If you can live through... if you... Stop reading up the chat. I just want to read the chat now. But if you can live through that initial barrage of... if you can live through the Chrono and you have a Satanic, you just turn around and kill the Void. I mean, unless he's Chain Bash you, which... When he's gone BKB Mask of Madness, he's good attack speed. It's not really enough to permabash a TA just with that.
Yeah, he actually picks up a Mask of Madness. I really agree with this decision, especially once you get a Black King bar. It's probably going to be the best item for you in terms of damage. It's really cheap. It only costs about 2k gold, and it gives you a lot of attack speed. So the trade-off is quite decent.
And it gives you lifesteal, which is fantastic on Void because he hits hard, but he has fairly low HP. So you can pretty much sit at full HP constantly, unless he gets Hexed. That's where he could be in trouble. And does Brax have a Hex yet? No, 2,500 gold and an Ultimate Orb. So within the next 2-3 minutes, at most, he probably should have it. And, well, that's when LGD, they start to look pretty scary. On paper, you see a lineup with Faceless Void, and generally you think that's the better late-game team. Just because this is... I mean, arguably one of like the top 5 at most, top 5 hard carries if the game goes late enough. But other team has a Wisp, has a Vengeful Spirit. These are some of the best late game supports. They make your carries much stronger. And the whole team for LGDN, I feel like they just have a lot more synergy in a later game engagement. And everybody getting farm and levels. I might actually give LGDN the advantage if this game goes late, unless there's a perfect Chrono.
Yeah, especially with the way that G is playing. He's got a lot of farm. He puts out a lot of damage. I mean, with the Venjar as well, he does so much, and it looks like they're trying to initiate on bottom.
They might go in here. There's going to be a wraparound from Dragon Knight heading from the north. It's Winter, who steals Refraction. He'll be a little more survivable with Blinkin. Coil catches out 3. G in a bit of trouble. It's TFG trying to fight his way out against PyCat. Is he able to do it? PyCat's actually losing this battle, even through the BKB. Gets off the stun. Can't kill TFG up. Finally brings him down, but might pay with his own life. While that's happening, it's a Chrono. Brings down the Aegis on G, but now they'll have to beat a hasty retreat. FCFC wrapping around, looking for another round of engagement. G on the run. Helm of the Dominator won't save you now, my friend. In comes a very angry Faceless Void, but the medical assistance, or rather, the defensive teleport, will bring G to safety. He gets the bailout, the airlift to safety, but, well, it will be 1437, most
How
certainly.
dead are you, 1437? Unless you can hit the tether, but the damage is too big. But at the same time, Brax, opting not to come to the team fight, realizing that's a lost cause, is going to take the mid tower, and that should mean his Hex and some. During that entire time, LD, he was farming. He actually just farmed like 3k gold there.
Didn't help them in the fight, but like you said, 3k gold, and we'll also see a Yule Scepter for the Puck, which is alright, I guess, but I really would like to see a Hex this game. I feel they're really going to need one. There's a Templar Assassin with no BKB. You should be punishing this, but instead, well, going for a Yule Scepter, more defensive.
And she's actually hasn't used her gold yet. That's a really big factor, too, that we haven't discussed. Just the fact that the game is kind of close, but at the same time, she hasn't really picked up any sort of damage-dealing items, I feel. Once she gets that really, really big damage item, I think this game is really going to swing around in LGDN's favor. Especially now that they have a Hex on Brax. Does Broodmother actually have a BKB? No. That's going to be a really big factor, too, because she was able to fight PyCat one-on-one, but once Hex, PyCat should win that fight really easily.
And TFG's going back for a Manta now, which, I mean, I suppose is alright. It helps you split push. But, oh no. Hex on FCFC. This is the hero you do not want to die. He orbs away towards the south side. He will be able to escape. Has the Blink and the Yules. So relocate for naught. And now maybe we see an initiation from MUFC. They do have a BKB Faceless Void. They will play it very safe. They will back off. I feel like this is that point in the game if you're TFG where you're like, man, I could have just rushed the Manta.
Yeah, I don't really know if the Necro has had any sort of big effect on this game. I assume because of the Shadow Blades and the Templar Assassin, you think, oh, maybe this investment might pay off. But it's done so little in terms of the team fight. Just because you can Helm of Dominate one, and that G's been really on top of that as well, and Midasing the other, it essentially makes your big, like, how much gold does it cost for a Necro 3?
It's 5,200. Or you could buy a gem for 850.
Exactly. It just seems like such a large investment for so little payoff.
It's very expensive, True Sight. I think that's fair to say. G, he'll pick up, actually goes for a Javelin here. So MKB is going to be the choice for him, and or at least I imagine. I don't think we'll see a Basher on a Templar Assassin, but hey, you never know. It's been one of those days, Blitz, where I really wouldn't rule it out. It's been a clowny conclusion.
Oh no, she's gonna go for a BKB.
Casual Javelin now completes the BKB.
I have to imagine that's a MKB, and that's a decision I really agree with. Just because of the mischance that the Broodmother passive gives you, it's actually quite large. It's 60%.
Oh, that's a great point. I mean, I was thinking, well, does Void have a butterfly? He doesn't, but yeah, there's the incapacitating bite, and there's no BKB. Or there wasn't a BKB. Now there is, which is going to be helpful for him because I feel like there's a lot of the damage that's actually bringing G down is the soul assumption in these fights, and you won't have to worry about that with the BKB.
Yeah, and actually opting to keep his bottle instead of getting the javelin.
He's got a DD rune. This is not your grandfather's bottle. This is a big bottle.
I guess, but I still think I'd prefer to have a javelin in the long run. Just pop the DD right now, but maybe just waiting for the team fight to start so he can get the BKB off in conjunction with it.
You know, the other thing is maybe he doesn't want to show the javelin. Maybe you'll bait the Void into getting a butterfly, and, well, he's already got a Demon Edge, so scratch that thought. Yeah, it seems slightly curious, but we'll have to see.
Here's that 5-man smoke that we never see work, mainly just because once 5 heroes smoke off the map, you have to know something's up. You got to gather at this point and realize, okay, well, 5 heroes are smoked, nobody's farming.
Did you just jinx it? You may have jinxed it. TFG, maybe a little bit too far up. There's 3 sets of dust to spot him out. In comes Brax. He'll dust, and now they've caught him. Blitz definitely working for LGD International here. But the real fight comes. Chrono catches 4. There's your orb over the top. They're not done yet. MUFC. Pycat even walking into the Chronosphere, but now the Templar Assassin G is going to go to work. It's a double for the Faceless Void. Will it be enough? Pycat drops low. He will fall. Now G being chain bashed. Can he fight his way out? Time walking forward. They're going to wipe him. It looks like just about double buyback from the Prophet and the Wisp. Will they rejoin the fight? In comes the Wisp from the backside. 5 seconds left. Brax thrown back. And Brax will fall as well. That was a 5-man wipe into a double buyback into 2 more heroes dead. 7 friggin' heroes dead. MUFC. Welp, that'll put you back in the game.
Yeah. The worst thing about that, too, was Pycat was swapped out. As we talked about, that was a really big thing of picking the Vengeful Spirit. And then he walks back in. I mean, if he had been able to stand outside the Chrono there and throw out some damage, that fight might have been a bit different.
Yeah, and I think maybe he could have even stunned something like the Puck. Void still has BKBF, so you can't stun him, but if you stun the Puck, he was living for a long time, did a lot of additional damage. That fight could have made the difference.
Yeah, and actually, that Yule's decision paying off, LD. It's a good defensive hero, but the worst thing about that was, I mean, getting full Marine Chrono like that, it wasn't really worth getting the Brute kill.
Oh, what a topsy-turvy game it's been. It's our final match of Group A for the Alienware Cup. Things are heating up here, and, well, winner of this is going to be 4-4. They'll be probably, I think, either 2nd or 3rd in the group, a much more comfortable position for them. FCFC, he'll take down the tower with the help of his little friends, the Necronomicon minions, doing a bit of work here. Bottom lane pushes into the base, and now a completed MKB up for our Faceless Void. And this is where, if you're G, he already had trouble man-fighting the Void, and now he's up against an MKB on that Void. The evasion won't be in play. There's so much attack speed at this point that, well, he can just chew through Refraction pretty much by himself in 2 or 3 seconds when Mask of Madness is online. This is where things start to get really dicey for a hard carry Templar Assassin. Against a bashing carry, you normally don't win the 1v1. They're going to have to try and do this as a team.
Yeah. Misery especially, he's going to be the pivotal hero here. If he's able to save G, actually, I think instead of Pycat, I think G is the big hero to save here, and he's able to get all the damage off that he has. Then I think that they have a pretty decent chance at fights. I mean, the net worth is still in their favor. They still have the big items. Brax does have that Hex with the Shadow Blade. He's picking up more and more gold. I think he should actually go for DPS to represent more of a threat at this point. And Pycat actually just stacking up that armor, realizing that that Void does a lot of damage, going to pick up that Assault Cuirass, really help his team out in general.
And for the first time this game, aside from, well, a brief 100 gold lead, not the first time this game, but close to it, MUFC will reclaim a gold lead. As far as experience goes, they lead there too, and it feels more and more like they might just have too much of a punch late game, too much AoE especially, with a Puck and a Void. Very hard for your team to not get caught, and very hard for them to move around freely. So we'll see if they can actually hang on. They're hoping and waiting for a Roche, but it's going to be hard to take it. You're fighting in the pit against Dreamcoil, against Silence, from Waning Rift, against Chronosphere, and Roshan about to respawn. I feel MUFC can easily take this fight if they want.
Yeah, but they have to hurry. The Aegis is going to go down really quickly. A smoke is popped.
It might be
like,
too late
oh,
already.
Wow, that's actually just going to go down that quickly. With Overcharge popped on this, it's actually doing way too much damage. And I think G should actually pick up his Demon Edge. Sell that bottle, man. You're going to have to at some point.
He picks up an Aegis instead. He's not going to have an MKB and MUFC. I imagine we'll back off here. Maybe they still want to go, but they'll wait for a really easy initiation. No engagement possible. Actually, lurking on the far side of the river. Nope, they're going to go up the hill. They catch out 1437. That was an easy kill. They're not done yet. The traps get deployed. Are they going to look to fight? There's no buyback on Wisp. Surprised to see that they would even consider going in. Aegis and Cheese are not. You can have 2 lives, but 2 lives do not really help you against this Void unless you've killed all his teammates beforehand, because he pops Chrono, he can kill you twice with ease.
Yeah, I think they thought for a second that they could fight, but Wisp Overcharge has been really helping out this game, as does the Tether, so I think that was a good decision just to back off. They did get the Aegis in return for the Wisp. I think that's a pretty good trade-off. And an MKB getting dangerously close for our boy G here.
Boy G.
Boy G.
Sounds like an up-and-coming rapper. He's spitting some game this time. The flow on G is strong.
But he's actually getting dangerously close to his to another damage item, and that's going to put his damage at such a high rate. Pycat at this point isn't really the threat, so much as G has become kind of the one role.
Yeah, Pycat, you want him to be focused. If you're LGD.int, if this Void wastes a Chronosphere or even wastes his precious BKB seconds hitting your Dragon Knight, that's a victory for you. I mean, you would much rather have him go on Pycat, who's already offering a lot just by having an Assault Caress and being in the fight, and even just auto-attacking heroes in Elder Dragon form. He is, for me, he's a red herring. If I'm MUFC, it's a mistake to go on him. The real target of choice should be the backline supports or G. Those are the 2 that you really want to focus. Yeah. Speaking of G, the MKB is coming in 20 gold.
Yeah, he's actually just going to wait that out. Going to get 1 more CS off of this wave. Should be able to get it right now. Oh god, it got delayed for a second and I got scared.
He missed like nearly every creep there.
Yeah, and Brax actually has 4k gold now as well, so he should be able to pick up a DPS item as well. At the same time, though, TFG, he's got 4k gold, actually. I'd imagine that he's going to get his Manta. I'd hope he'd get a Manta. The damage potential on that is great, too. And it couples well with the move speed bonus.
His item progression is really ground to a halt here. TFG, I mean, like you said, has 4k, can get the Manta, but he was sitting on this Yasha and the rest of the items in his inventory a good 10 to 15 minutes ago. It's been an uphill struggle, uphill battle for him, and well, it's the fact that LGD have such a mobile lineup. Really hard for Broodmother to do what she does best, which is aggressively split push. Instead, he's basically forced into just farming the mid lane, even the off lane, but very, very defensively, only well within their side of the river.
Contrast player is so farmed. He's got an Eagle Horn. He's going to get 6-stacked any moment now. And this is a really good 6-stack for him to have.
And he's still got an 8-second BKB. He got this BKB as his second big item. Then the Mask of Madness came out, and he still has it. And this is crucial.
Yeah, just being able to get a really good chrono off, there's no way in hell they can burst him down at this point.
If they can stun him, if they can chain stun him, I think they can. But if he BKBs, yeah, absolutely no freaking way they kill him. Even with the MKB on G, it still feels like, well, there's still backtrack, MKB against that, and it's a Void who's probably just going to focus the TA and chain Basher. This is where, though, Blitz, something that you mentioned in the pregame could come into play. Maybe a clutch swap, wasting that Chronosphere, wasting precious seconds of the Void's BKB, could be the way that LGD.int stall throughout that and then turn the fight around.
Pycat getting dangerously close to that Assault Curse. I think
dangerously
once he picks
cheesy.
It up, I think once he picks up that, I'm not even going to dignify that with the response.
He's got cheese.
Once he picks up that Assault,
so
I think that's the time to push for LGD.
Don't I get a slow clap from Kawa or something?
Here, I'll do it for you.
I get nothing.
But
you get nothing.
They can't waste the Aegis time. They have to start going now. Assault is finished. They're not going to get a whole lot stronger than this. Nobody really has any money left over aside from Brax, but that's kind of just, you know, the way that Nature's Prophet's supposed to be played. You've got the buyback ready. You're just going to TP in. He's got a Demon Edge, so a lot of damage ready on him. They're barreling straight through middle.
They're charging down the mid lane. Of course, they do have 7, actually 8 lives with the buyback from Prophet. The orb comes through, but won't technically reveal anyone. No vision there, and they might get the opportunity to backstab. They want TFG, but lurking on the high ground is going to be the Puck. The counter initiators are well positioned. They're not the ones who will get caught. If you go in and you don't get the Puck or the Void, This fight could turn around in a jiffy, and he's going to walk right in. BKB is there. He's forced to pop it. That was a big crit, but he's caught the 2 primary damage dealers. He'll focus PyCat, but a clutch swap. Now time walking back in. He's thinking about running. He's thinking about fighting, and in the end, he's going to go down. Very indecisive play from that Void. Now TFG has to shoulder the heavy burden by himself. He can't do it. He will fall. Lane trapped and brought down. Resummons the familiars. A lot of free gold for LGDN. 3 cores on the sideline. No buyback on the Void. No buyback on the Brood. Or sorry, there is buyback on the Broodmother. The Visage, none on him either. So it's going to be a 3v5 at best. And without Void, without Chrono, this could be it. LGDN might just be able to go straight for the throne here and end the game and take a 2-0 sweep over MUFC.
They can't fight this. Without the Void up and 4... Actually, PyCat's... or Misery's going to buy back now. That's 5 heroes alive on the side of LGD International. And actually, he's going to TP the Vengeance, realizing that the R is going to be a little more useful at this point. Going to 5-man push this out. It doesn't even matter if the Brute buys back, because it'll be a 3-on-5 fight. And how do you 3-on-5 fight against a lineup like this?
While that was happening, Brax dies, but that's okay. He's thrown his life on the line, but he'll be coming back with the buyback. They don't even bother with the kill. They say, we know you're there, Winter. We don't care. We're going to take your racks instead, and then what will you be left defending, my little friend? He's hiding in the trees, melded up. The tower falling quickly. A melt strike from Winter, blinks out. Anything he can. It's all stalling tactics, but the base is falling apart. LGDN, they found a way. There seems to be a bit of magic about this team, at least today. It looks like they're going to round off Group A in pretty convincing and spectacular fashion. They've taken Mega Creeps, and when you have Prophet and Wisp on your side, good freaking luck to MUFC coming back from this. It's got to be a Desperation Gambit, a troll face from PyCat. He's feeling happy. LGDN, they might just sweep their group stage matches here today.
Yeah, it actually looked like a boat, LD, more than a troll face.
That was a smile.
No, it was like a boat. But 3K gold now on PyCat. The best thing about pushing a base,
Kawa, can we get a verdict on this?
So much gold. It was a boat. It was definitely a boat. And G, it looks like, I don't know.
He's not even watching
anymore. Go for Shivas, Hex. There's a lot of options he has. Brax, he did use his buyback. That was the scary thing. G used all of his gold as well, and if he dies, he's not going to have buyback either.
G actually does have it. Sitting on buyback
does
for
he have
now.
Enough gold?
1,800, all of it nearly reliable, so guaranteed buyback for him. Yep.
Oh, he does. Okay, yeah.
Guaranteed buyback for him, and PyCat buyback as well. LGDN, they could even probably just relocate to the enemy base and win this via a backdoor race. There is no glyph, so if MUFC actually try to go high ground here, LGDN, I don't think they even have to take the fight.
TFG going to get a Hex.
This is all in from MUFC. They've got to win with this push, because otherwise, with Mega Creeps and a massive creep army pushing in the bottom lane, well, will LGD even fight? Again, I feel they can relocate. I feel they can just win this via split push and backdoor. Rat Dota could be the option for them, but they want to take it like men, and they will pay with a 3-hero chrono. This could hurt. They've got buybacks. They'll be coming out momentarily. G, still bashed. Can't get away. Will the Void time walk forward? While this is happening, the throne's falling quickly. Brax is trying to win this game by himself. They fight on in the base, but that throne is not long for this world. Void now on the back foot. Teleport back to the base. Brax says, screw you, man. I want your base, and it's dropping quickly. Now the Void to fall. He doesn't have buyback. Yet again, is going to fall short. Brax still working. He's going to take this game. It goes to LGDN. A little Rat Dota at the end brings them to success. LGDN 4-0 today. What a performance.
Yeah, and that game kind of looked scary for half a second, getting the 3-man chrono, and they were perfectly lined up for the Battle Fury hits, but then Brax saying to himself, you know, it's just like he said, just go backdoor. Nobody can solo defend that, because the creeps, like 10 creeps equal like 2 heroes at this point.
Yeah, those creeps hurt. I mean, Brax wasn't even hitting the racks there at the end. I'm pretty sure he was running away, but the creeps were doing so much work. LGDN, they did a lot of work today as well. They take 4 games, and they'll now be 4-4 in the group. Imagine if they didn't have to forfeit those 4 earlier. They could have. I don't know if I would say they could have easily gone 8-0 in the group, but they played well enough today that had they played like this on the first 2 days, I think they very well might have been 8-0.
Yeah, this is an LGD International like I've never seen them. Really versatile. They've played every stage of the game so far. They've taken great fights. I mean, they've had some sloppy moments. Like I said, I think they play up to their competition. But at the same time, they played really well today in general.
I think it's like you said, very versatile. This team showed one style for the entirety of like their first month of existence. The entire G League group stages and playoffs up until the LAN finals was dual roam, snowball early, 5-man with Luna, Darkseer getting a mech quickly, something along those lines, and just try and win the game in about 25 to 30 minutes. That was the only style we saw from this team that worked. They experimented with other stuff. It wasn't successful, but they've put G into the drafting seat now. They've switched Brax back to the offlane where he's clearly more comfortable and able to make plays happen. Misery back where I think he's best as that roaming, roving, playmaking, 4-position support, and it's working for them. Right now, they might be the most... I still feel it's an age of parity for Asia right now. LGD.int had a good day, a 4-0 day, but it is only one day. We can't crown them just yet, Blitz, but they look good, and they look like they're revitalized.
Yeah, they looked like the best team by far in this group so far, just by the way they played. But it seems like that changes every single day we see a team play. So it's hard to just kind of, give them the crown. But the way they played today, they showed us the most talent in every phase of the game.
And I'm not 100% sure if these are with the tiebreakers included, but LGD.int might have a shot. It's a 3-way or 2-way tie now for second place. Maybe they even finish second in this group. We'll have to check with DPM, the organizer, as well as Tusky Atria, the admin, to confirm it. But hey, if they could really just forfeit 2 games and still finish second, that is pretty scary.
That's talent right there.
It's like that kid who never does his homework, and the teacher's just thinking,
so much wasted potential.
Imagine if you applied yourself, gentlemen. Well, maybe tomorrow we'll see it. So that's going to wrap up Group A. The Alienware Cup moves forward, and I'm really impressed by LGD.int, but the real story, of course, is DK. They finished this group in style, 6-2. They had 1 forfeit win over LGD.int, but they will be your first-place team.
Yeah, so that means Group A is over, right?
Yeah, Group A is a wrap. Nobody's eliminated. The format for the playoffs is a big 10-team double elimination bracket. I say 10, you might be thinking, well, that's not a factor of it can't be factored out by 2, but basically the way the bracket works is the top 2 teams just get seeded into the semifinals, and there's like an extra round in the bracket to accommodate having 10 instead of your standard 8 teams. Nobody's eliminated. Nobody starts in the losers bracket, but DK, they'll have an easier road to that grand finals.
All right, Group A is concluded. Let's take a quick look at Group B. That's the one I'm excited for. We've got Na'Vi in that. I know that's what everyone is excited to see, how well they're going to do stacked up against the other Eastern teams.
Yeah.
We haven't actually seen them too often against... I mean, the main time we do see Na'Vi is at the International against the Eastern teams, but this is kind of a new Na'Vi. How are they going to do? How do you predict they're going to do?
So hard to say. I look at this group, and I would say it's Tongfu, Orange, and Na'Vi who are performing really well right now. I would probably say it's hard for me to say which one is performing the best. I guess the big thing for me is every team in this group is a huge name. I think you could say there are 3 or 4 teams in this group out of the 10 in the tournament that are like the biggest names. Na'Vi, Zenith, in terms of just like being fan favorites and having a huge base of popularity. Mushi and Orange and his squad, and IG. These are probably the most popular teams in Asia, as well as, of course, Na'Vi from Europe. But as far as who's performing well, I would say Orange, Na'Vi, and Tongfu, they've been in the best form. IG and Zenith have not been they haven't been playing up to their potential lately.
Yeah, but I mean, IG, you can't really discount them. They are the
Don't you just
defending
feel like
champions.
you feel like one day it's just like the light's going to go off and they'll be right back at it. At least it's hard for me to shake that feeling. We haven't seen it yet. It's been a while now, and I'm sure their fans are concerned, but it is still IG. They are still your defending International 2 champions.
Yes. So, I'm exhausted.
Blitz is tired. We're going to call it a wrap, guys. It's a wrap. We're done. Group B will begin tomorrow. Be sure to tune in. We'll post the schedule with exact match times for tomorrow after we conclude the broadcast. But Group A now in the books. If you missed today's broadcast, if you're just tuning in, don't worry. We've got you covered with the rebroadcast. It's going to start now. Congratulations to 2 teams in particular. DK, they're your first place team in the group. And then, of course, LGD.int, who somehow, someway 4-0 swept their opponents today and may have just secured themselves second place overall. We'll be back tomorrow.